Hello and welcome back to our walkthrough in the book of James. Today we're beginning in chapter 5. James chapter 5. Now listen, you rich people, weep and wail because of the misery that is coming on you. Your wealth has rotted, and moths have eaten your clothes. Your gold and silver are corroded. Their corrosion will testify against you and eat your flesh like fire. You have hoarded wealth in the last days. Look, the wages you failed to pay the workers who mowed your fields are crying out against you. The cries of the harvester have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty. You have lived on earth in luxury and self-indulgence. You have fattened yourself in the day of slaughter. You have condemned and murdered the innocent one who was not opposing you. Now, that's pretty hard words. But we think, well, who are the rich people? We think of the billionaires and the millionaires, the people who flaunt their wealth, who have super yachts and super cars and super houses and take super holidays, and people who have it all and they flaunt their wealth. It's here in the United Kingdom, it's in Turkey. You see the great mansions on the sides of the Bosphorus, and you know that is where the wealthy live. But I don't think that James is speaking about those wealthy people. They're included, but I think he's speaking more about those who have more than enough. You and I might look at our situations. I'm a pensioner. My income is not very great, but I live in a very nice house. I live in a very nice town. I have food on the table. I'm well fed. My struggle is not eating, but is eating too much. And in many ways, if you compare that with people living in countries as modern as Turkey, you go further east or south, you find places where people have not enough to eat, do not have a comfortable place to live, who are struggling just to sustain life. And all of a sudden, I become rich. My problem is not finding food to eat, it's trying to ensure that I do not eat too much. And my problem is very different from those who are poor. Now listen, you rich people, weep and wail because of the misery that is coming on you. Your wealth has rotted, and moths have eaten your clothes. Your gold and silver are corroded. Their corrosion will testify against you and eat your flesh like fire. We have more than enough living as we do in the West. Most of us have all that we need. Well, there's still many things that we want. We still strive for more things, but we have all that we need, and in abundance. And yet we're still trying to get more, to collect more, to have more. And there's an attitude here, when we have things, to want more things. I think it comes down to verse 5 when he says, you have fattened yourselves in the day of slaughter. When you see the needs about you, when you see the needs around you, and all you do is just continue to gain for yourself, continue to take for yourself, continue to enrich yourself, ignoring those needs, ignoring those people who do not have enough to eat, who do not have someplace nice to live, someplace adequate to live, someplace dry to live. And we are still obsessed with helping ourselves. I guess it's the difference between having an open hand and a closed hand. An open hand says, I will help those in need. I have saved this money and I'm ready to buy the thing that I wanted, and it's really dear to me. I've really longed for this for a long time, but I see a need there. And if I meet that need, I can't have my thing. And it's having the open hand and saying, God has freely given to me, so I too need to freely give to others. Sometimes it hurts. There's a strange thing I've observed in the West. I don't really understand it. I understand it at one level, but I don't understand it at another level. A family has a large television, and they decide that they want a larger television. Now, the old television still works, but it's old. It's not 100%, but it's still quite usable. So what they do is they buy a brand new television, and then they take the old secondhand one and they give it to the church, or they try to dispose of it, something like that. They're giving away their cast-offs, their rejects, the things that they no longer want. They're keeping the best for themselves. Whereas Scripture says that we are to think of the needs of others rather than our own needs. And I find it difficult now, especially in Turkey, that if I say, oh, I would like something, I would really like that thing, and what will you do with the old thing? Well, give it to somebody else. I said, well, that's really not esteeming them. That's really not looking after their needs. I better get the thing I want and give it to them. Give it to them so that they have something nice and something good. The old thing will still work for me. I think this is speaking about our attitudes, not about how much money we have in the bank, or how large our house is, or how modern our car is, or how in what shape our bank account is in. This is more about an attitude of life. Whether we're rich because we are stealing, because we are grasping, because we are taking for ourselves, or whether we are open-handed. As the Lord blesses us, do we bless others? And what does it say here? The wages that you fail to pay the workers. To get ahead, they've cut corners. They've done things. The cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty. Now, we all want a comfortable life. All of us want a comfortable life. Everywhere in the world, no matter what status we're in, we all want a comfortable life. If you are living in Hemel Hempstead, or if you're living in some remote village in Turkey, you still want a comfortable life. That's what you strive towards. The question is, what are you willing to sacrifice to get that? Are you willing to cheat? Are you willing to cut corners? Are you willing to do all that you can do in order to elevate yourself, to enhance yourself, to get into a better position for yourself? Or are you honestly saying, I want to get ahead, but I don't want to do it at the expense of other people? If I hire a worker, they will get paid the full whack, whatever the rate is that they should get. If I'm building a building, I will not steal building materials. I'll build it on quality. I will do things as unto the Lord, and I'll do it as He has blessed me, and as He has shown grace to me. So I will bless others, and I will show grace to others, unmerited favor, and I will be generous with others. It's a very hard first 6 verses in this chapter. And yet it's a lesson that I think we need to hear, and it needs to resonate in our hearts, that we need to be those who are open-handed with those around us, who, as we receive from God, yes, we work, yes, we strive, yes, we do our best, but as we receive the blessing of God, to be ready to share that with other people in need. Verse 7, be patient then, brothers and sisters, until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, patiently waiting for the autumn and spring rains. You too, be patient and stand firm, because the Lord's coming is near. Be patient. How can we be patient? There's things that we want, things that we desire, and they're not here now. How can we be patient? Well, it says, be patient until the Lord's coming. Some things take time. We realize that, we acknowledge that, and yet we can still be impatient with it. It says the farmer waits for the spring and the autumnal rains. He has to wait for the rains. If he gets up and he frets and he worries and he looks at the sky and says, where are the rains? Why aren't the rains here? And comes and looks at his crop, it does him no good at all. His impatience actually draws away his quality of life. His impatience is actually physically harmful to him. And it doesn't advance the course. The clouds won't come early because he's been impatient. The spring rains and the autumn rains come in their season, in their time. And so the farmer, he's done his work. He's done due diligence. He's done everything that he's required to do. And now the time has come to be patient, to rest and to be patient, to trust God, to trust that the rains will come in time. And as the spring rains and the autumn rains come, they water the crop and the crop grows, and he prepares himself for the labor that's ahead. And so he is saying to us, just like the farmer, we need to be patient. The Lord's coming is near. The Lord's coming is near. And so we need to be patient, knowing that whatever he's put in our hands to do, to be diligent, to be hardworking, to be earnest about what is in our hands to do today, and to be patient, to rest in the Lord. Be patient then, brothers and sisters, until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crops. Sometimes all you can do is wait. How you wait is in your hands. If you wait patiently, it's all right. If you wait impatiently, your life is uncomfortable and unpleasant. You too, be patient and stand firm, because the Lord's coming is near. Don't grumble against one another, brothers and sisters, or you will be judged. The judge is standing at the door. Let's read that again. Don't grumble against one another, brothers and sisters, or you'll be judged. Do you ever grumble against somebody? Well, you didn't really do a very good job with that. Well, that wasn't right. Well, they were late. Why were they late? Why didn't they come? Well, look what they're wearing. Oh my word, that's just not appropriate. Do you ever grumble against your brothers and sisters? It says, don't grumble, because you will be judged. Why is that? Because grumbling inherently involves judgment. Well, what time do you call this? What time do you call this? I've been waiting for you. Either you grumble to the person or you grumble about the person. It makes no difference. We have judged that they are late. And we say that they are inconveniencing me. We're saying that they are being lax, that they aren't being diligent. We have judged them. We don't know why they're late. It might be they're late because their watch stopped. They might be late because they forgot. They might be late for 1,000 reasons. But when we speak against them, we're judging them. We're saying they're late. Let's say they're late because they weren't diligent, because they just didn't care, because they were just distracted. There's 1,000 negative things. They did things wrong. But when I say, when I grumble against them, I'm judging them. Because I'm late from time to time. I'm not perfect. And it says, don't grumble against one another, or you will be judged. The judge is standing at the door. Now here's the thing. If I judge against you, that's from what I see and from what I know, which is lacking. If I judge you, I'm saying that I'm greater than you. If I judge you, it's saying that I'm all right, but you're not. So who am I to judge? And it says, but the judge is at the door. The judge is at the door. The judge who knows everything in my life. He knows everything that I do right and everything that I do wrong. He knows everything about me. He knows everything about you. That judge is standing at the door. Now, I don't really want to be judged, because of the good things I do, there's a whole raft of bad things that I do, bad thoughts that I think, bad decisions that I make. Sometimes we fall into sin, but sometimes we choose our way into sin. Sometimes I do things wrong by habit. Sometimes I do things wrong by choice. And the judge knows all of those things. He knows all of those things. So it says, don't grumble against one another. Don't judge one another. Don't speak ill of one another. Don't point out other people's faults and failings, or you will be judged. And then the kicker, the judge is at the door. The judge is at the door. Brothers and sisters, as an example of patience in the face of suffering, It's not a word that we really like, is it? As an example of patience in the face of suffering. Take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. As you know, we count as blessed those who have persevered. You have heard of Job's perseverance and seen what the Lord finally brought about. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. He's talking about suffering. None of us want to suffer. None of us want to suffer. None of us choose to suffer. And yet all of us from time to time suffer. And he says, consider those who in the face of suffering persevered. Perseverance, endurance, long suffering, going through the difficult time, something that is not very attractive to us. When we're in a difficult time, when we're suffering, we want it to stop, and we want it to stop now. But the word says patience, and the word says perseverance. To say I have faith, to say that I trust God, and all is going well and all is wonderful. It's an easy thing to say, but when I am in difficulty, when there is situation that makes my life awkward, when I am under pressure, when there's stress in my life, when things seem to be going all upside down, when I'm feeling pushed upon, and then I have faith in that adversity, in that suffering, when I persevere in that situation, that's real faith. It's not easy, but you know, the muscle that gets exercised becomes strong. The muscle that's exercised becomes strong. And faith, when it's exercised, becomes strong. If everything is always wonderful and sweet and light and perfect, and there's never a problem, and everything is perfect, and there's never a difficulty, there's no stress in your life, and everything's just how we love it to be, there's nothing to exercise our faith. And the first wee bump on the road, and it can throw us for six. Can throw us for six. Yes, there is difficulty in life. Jesus promised that there would be difficulties in life. Yes, we have suffering. Yes, we have hard times. Yes, like Job, we sometimes go through very difficult times in our life, but perseverance takes us through the other side. Just hanging in there and remembering that God is love. God is faithful. God is sovereign. God is loving. God is gracious to me. Remembering who God is and trusting Him when I don't feel it. Trusting Him at all times. That's how I know His long suffering. That's how I know His faithfulness. That's how I know His love to me. Because when I come through that situation, I see how God has been there and how God has redeemed my situation and has met me in my point of need. Then I can say with James, the Lord is full of compassion and mercy. Not because it's been so nice and sweet and easy, but because of the situations that I've lived through, that life has thrown at me. Sometimes it's my choice that's brought it about. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes life just throws us a curveball, and we don't know what to do with it. But persevere and have faith and wait on the Lord. And through it all, we learn and we see and we experience that the Lord is full of compassion and He is full of mercy. Finally, verse 12. Above all, my brothers and sisters, do not swear, not by heaven or earth or anything else. All you need to say is a simple yes or no. Otherwise, you'll be condemned. Some people swear by this and swear by that. This maybe more happens in Turkey. The term Vallahi, by God, is quite a common verbal expression that people use. And sometimes we might say something like that in English, but it's kind of gone out of favor. Nevertheless, we still declare things, on my honor, on my child, on my this, on my that. We say things very adamantly as if to make them more secure and put more meaning on it. But Scripture is very clear. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Otherwise you'll be condemned. Because when you invoke a swearing, you're adding a whole new layer upon it, a whole new degree of culpability or responsibility to it. If you say yes, let it mean yes. If you say, I will be there, be there. If you cannot be there, tell them. If you cannot tell them, you apologize because you have not kept your word. Let your no be no. I will not do this. I will not accept this. I will not eat this. I will not drink this. I will not go there. I will not, whatever the no is, that you will keep that word. In one sense, the Christian life is quite simple. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. We tend to make it more complicated. We tend to make it a bit more complicated. But ultimately, what God is asking us is to let your yes be yes and your no be no. Well, there's quite a bit there in James. Quite a warning to rich, and we're all rich. I'm sorry. All of us are included in this rich passage because of where we live and our standard of living. Even unless you're a street person living rough, sorry, but you're in the rich category. Be patient, the exhortation from verse 7. Number 10, be patient in the face of suffering and live perseverance. And finally, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Fairly simple, straightforward, not very ambiguous, clear words from the book of James. I commend it to you. May God have his way in our hearts and lives as we grow to know him more day by day. God bless you.